Our students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And behind me, there's a bit of a mess, but I explain that at the end of the video. And I'm looking kind of tired, but I explain that at the end of the video too. So anyway, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw hands. Now, this is going to be an informational video. It's not going to be, I draw some spicy looking hands just to show you that I can draw hands. This is about educating you so that you can draw hands, not just one or two positions, but every position that a hand can take. Now, this is going to be a two-part video. This is part one of it. So I'm going to start working on the next part soon, but understand this will teach you how to draw hands. If you have no idea, if you're one of the type that just throw something and hide behind your hand behind something, this will start to teach you how to draw hands. So if you like the video, and I never say this, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. So I need to start saying that in every video. All right, so enough of that. If you're ready to learn how to draw hands the easiest way possible, then get you some paper and a pencil and pull up to your drawing area and let's get started. Let's go. Our students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again. Let me get my hands in frame because this is about hands. So today we're going to do hands. I'm going to show you how to do hands. So let me warn you right now, this video is not about me drawing one or two action hand poses just to entertain you. This video is about education because drawing to me now is 70% knowledge, 30% skill. This is what I believe. So you have to have the knowledge of how something works before you can actually draw it. So this is what this video is about. And this page that you're staring at, this is one of the pages from my 360 handbook that I'm working on. If you have followed me, you know I have a 360 action pose position book. So I'm doing a 360 handbook because it's not all about just wow, 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 wow. It's about, just little things like holding a pencil. What does that pencil look like when you hold it? So this is what this is about. So this video is going to show you the shapes of a hand because everything is a shape. So you have to know that shape before you can draw the rest of it because I always say drawing is just taking a shape, putting a shape in front of it or behind it, taking a shape, twisting it, turning it, bending it, shaving it off, software update ready to install. This is flashing across my screen, so hopefully it's not being video recorded. I have a message flashing across my screen. As I said, hopefully it's not being recorded. Yeah, that's what drawing is. It's just taking a shape and adding another shape. Like since I have these glasses, here's the glasses, here's a shape. You put another shape on top of that, connect this or twist it, bend it. That's what drawing is about. And drawing the hands are probably the most difficult in drawing. I see a lot of beginner drawers and intermediate drawers, that just kind of throw a hand up there, and a lot of artists will put hands behind their backs. I think Jim Lee even said that he will cover a hand up with a cape in a minute just so he won't have to draw it. So it's not easy to do. So let's get started, and I'll show you the basics before we get into the in-depth hand drawing. But I want to show you these shapes so whenever you draw the hands, you'll know how to start. That's a mouthful. All right, so let's look at the hand first. Look at the hand, okay? Everybody, you always look at your hand, but you really don't look at your hand. So let's start in with the inside of the hand. We're talking about shapes now, shapes. The inside of your hand, when you see the inside of your hand, you want to do more of a square for the inside of the hand because you have more that square. From the back of the hand, because this comes out, you want to do more of a kind of a triangle, almost a half triangle like that. For the side of the hand, you have your inside and you have your outside of your hand. So you want to use this shape here, flat on the top, coming down like that. It's almost like a triangle, going to a triangle, half a triangle, cutting it like that. And it's going to be the same way with the other side of your hand. So that one could be the inside, the outside. No, that's the outside, inside. is going to be like this. Same thing, except you're going to have your palm come down like this, because you have two parts of the palm. Now that would be the inside. That's your outside. Sorry, I sat here for about 2 hours trying to figure out how to present this to you guys. So what I said, this is the inside and that's the outside. Okay, because turning it, my computer is really slow and it's all kind of notifications jumping up. You have this piece right here, but you also have this part of your palm that you see depending on the angle. So from the inside, I do this. I split this in half like that. So you have this curve right here. This is where your thumb is going to go. Your thumb is going to come out here. And this part is going to go right up to the baby finger. Okay, so this is I think this is called the padding. This is your palm right here. So just remember that. All of this is about just the knowledge of the hand. So let's continue with the inside. So if I'm drawing the inside of the hand, and we'll get into the bending and so forth in a minute, but you have to know this before you get started. You take this circle, you take it out because your thumb is going to come out. You have this. There's a bone right here. You have this little piece, and you have this little piece. And I found out, I used to draw the hands, the fingers round, but the fingers are actually more square than round. For those people that are new to drawing hands, you see it's flat. It's flat on the side and it kind of flattish on the top. So this would be more like a square than it would be cylinders. And I used to draw cylinders for the longest time, but now I understand. Something else about the hand that I used to draw the hand like this, and the wrist would be like that, and the thumb would be like that, but it's not like that. It curves in, it goes out like this. So this is going to go out and in. This is going to come straight up to this. This is going to come straight up and go out for the thumb. Something else I did when I was young. Did not really understand that. So getting in detail, this is going to be round because this is lower. This is the smallest finger because it's way down low here. So you're going to go up, straight across, and down. So we just kind of give that like a little curve. That's all it is. Kind of curve that around. And then something else that's important is this thumb and the finger are going to connect. So if you start out with these two fingers first, then the rest becomes really simple. And then this one, because this is going to come straight up to this finger. That's going to come up to that finger right there. And then you just put your two other fingers and it's going to have this curve. Just like this is kind of like a 45-degree angle. That's the way you can check the size and the distance of your fingers if your fingers are right. And you do that one. And you already have a good looking finger. Now, the thing is there are these bends, the bends in your finger. If you're doing my cameras at a different angle from because I got this 11 by 17 or 11 by whatever, 8 by 14 sheet in front of me. So I can get more on the camera. You have your bends in your fingers. Now, when doing fingers, unless you're doing a really, really detailed close-up of a hand, I just do the one bend in the middle, right here. So you have this length of your finger. So right there in the middle of every finger, you put that first bend, okay? So whatever you have left in the middle of that, if you're going to do detail, you put that second bend right there in the middle of that hand, because these are not as wide as this way. I gotta get my camera, because I said my camera's at a different angle. This is not as long as these. This little tip is not long. Okay, so this is like the main bend here, halfway. And then you have the other half, and you just split that in half. It's just easier to do when you're drawing. And there was something else I was going to say about this, because there's so much to talk about that I am forgetting. All right, I cannot remember, but I'm saying if you draw your hands in a square first, because that's the one thing when we learn how to draw, we start drawing squares, and it just makes it easier for us to draw. If everything is a square, it's easy to turn a circle from a square than it is to turn a square from a circle, something like that. Don't listen to me what I just said. So it's just easier to do. Oh, okay, I think I remember now. When you bend your fingers down, I don't know why I keep putting my hand out here. I need to slide my chair over or move the camera or whatever. So when you bend your fingers, if you notice, this part is gonna come in. Okay, so when you have this, let's do this square right here. You're just gonna curve it in like this when you start to bend your hand in. Okay, now when you do that, this finger, it doesn't come straight down. Again, it just doesn't fold straight down. This one comes in. This one goes in. This one comes straight down. And this one comes in just a little bit, Let me use my right hand because I'm directly under the camera. Now I have to adjust my chair. So like that. You see how that comes in, straight down, and then comes in at an angle. So by doing the hands, or by doing the fingers, making them a square, if you are trying to do, I don't know what you would call it. Let's just say this. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to use squares. Remembering this comes in. And that's pretty simple to do. So if I had this hand and I'm going to bend this finger in, okay, right off the bat, these are just squares on your fingers. So I'm going to see this square. This square is going to be shortened, and this square is going to be even shortened, because you're going to put, remember what I said, when you draw, you're going to take a shape, and you put it in front of another shape, and you put it in front of another shape, and put another shape in front of that. So that's all it is. So I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay. So this one, you just say you see this part here, and maybe this part here. This one, you see the middle, the piece right here, and then this part right there. And the same thing here. And remember, I think that's what I was going to say. Everything has that little curve to it. Even when you do the middle pieces, they all kind of fit along that curve. Keep this on camera, Brian. So the same thing here. So I'll bring this up a little bit. And by doing just these squares, this is going down, then you have a way to move your fingers. This is going to come out. This, when you squeeze this, put it on camera. When you squeeze this, this is going to have this little point from the everybody's line is a little different, but just remember that. So this is going to come out a little bit and go back in. So, and then you're going to have the palm, like I said, you're going to split it in half. This is going to come up to the finger. This is going to come up halfway and then come out a little bit. And then you're going to have your thumb. You're going to have that bone right here. It's going to have a little piece right here and this little piece right there. So you're going to have this, this, and then this. And then you can round that off later, just the tips. So if you want to do like a female hand or something, okay, so I got to have this. Don't forget this. When you have this is where the finger connects. And I remember exactly what I was going to say. It wasn't what I said that. I remember what I was going to say. I'm trying not to forget that. So yeah, so you're going to have this piece here, the middle piece, and then the front piece. So if you want to put fingernails on it, it's going to be like that, like that. Where's this hand? This finger is going even further down. And this one, the fingernail is going to be up top like this. And I will round that part off. This is that. Let me get a pen because I've got too many lines. I'll round this part off right here. Here's my fingernail. This part right here. And then this part right there. And that's that bend there. So this is going to be here. Remember, kind of square this off. Just kind of like keep this in mind. When you're drawing, you want to draw more square than circle. And my nail's going to be here. So if I'm going to do a female, I just won't make the hand so wide and I won't have it so sharp. It would be more round. And then, of course, I'll round off the female's fingernails. And then, as I said, the fingers won't be so wide and it won't be so squared off. I would round it off a little bit to make this more of a female hand. But in the beginning, you want to do, you want to keep that long, you want to do your squares for basically everything. So that's kind of the inside. I lost what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember now. If you look at this, these lines that's going around here, get it on camera, and you turn your hand over, you see how far your knuckles are. Here is the back of this pencil. This is along these bend lines. I don't know what this is called. And then you turn your hand over, you see how far your knuckles are down from your hands. It plays, I can't think of the word, in your drawing, and you'll see that later. The back of the hand. So the back of the hand, because as I say, you're going to have this thumb comes out, you're going to have that more of a triangle look. So if you're reaching for something, and the reason why it's more of a triangle, because if you're reaching for something, this curves around. It's always curves around. So if I'm naturally reaching for something, this is going to curve around, which gives it more of a triangle shape. And remember what I said about this. You want to keep these two together. So what I'm saying, this is the inside. So if I'm doing my finger, say this is my finger right here. This is my finger. We're going to have my knuckle here, and my finger is going to come back, and it's going to loop around because you have this web, is what they call this web. So if you always draw these two together, it makes it a lot easier to do a hand when you're drawing hands like that. Remember, you want to kind of keep it. But another thing is, from the side, when you look from the side, you are always going to see this middle finger, because this one is down lower. So you're going to see the knuckle from this. It depends on your how much you turn it. Unless you turn it like that and you're looking at seeing the palm, you won't. But if you turn it sideways, you're going to see that middle knuckle. So whenever you draw a hand, remember this knuckle is going to go down, this one's going to go up, and you're going to see that middle finger curve like that. So just remember this, because this plays a major part in drawing your hand. So if I'm going to do my hand, and I just say it's reaching for something, I'm going to start out with my triangle. I'm going to do my fingers. I'm only going to do two in one joint, one bend in the joint. Remember, it's better if you can see it as a square as you draw it. Come on, Brian, put it on camera. You can see, I was trying to keep it all like this, but I always turn my paper. So let me adjust my chair so I'm staying on camera. If you can see it in your head as a square without having to draw this, but if you draw it out, it's even better. And this is going to come down, as I say, it's going to curve around, and then you're going to have that thumb. So you're going to have this, you're going to have that joint right here. You're going to have this piece, and then you're going to have this thumb piece at the end of your thumb right here. And you have this. So once you turn your hand, one finger is going to get in front of another finger, which is going to get in front of another finger, which is going to get in front of another finger. So you're not going to see a lot of that finger, a lot of those fingers, because the one that's first is going to get in front of the one that's second. So just that's something else to remember, unless you're doing some kind of a weird, magic hand kind of position. So you're going to do this, and remember, you're going to keep that curve. You're always going to keep that curve. So you're going to do this, this, maybe that, and then going down. But you have this triangle that you started out with. You come here, and you can do a block if you want to, or a wedge if you want to, if that makes it easier for you. Just that circle, and then you're going to have that one piece and that other piece. And then you can round it off, or if you really have a hard time not putting that third joint, you can do that. You put that third one there, that crease there, and then you can take it across, or maybe even bend it down a little bit. Depending on what that finger is doing. But start out with your shapes first, and remember, these two are going to connect all the time, whether you're holding a bottle or a glass or a scroll or something like that. It's going to do that. You just keep that in there, and the more round this thing is, the more round, let me unplug Alexa, the more round whatever you're grabbing, the more roundness it's going to take on to a certain degree anyway. So, and then you have, at the end of here, you have your knuckles. I don't want to get too deep in this. I want you guys to I want you guys to understand. You start out with your shapes first before you get into, you know, the dynamic stuff. But as long as you keep your finger square, and it's going to take you a minute to get your proportions right. This is why you always draw your, I don't know why I'm losing it. You draw your form first before you start doing detail. Never, ever, 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 I'll say it again, ever do detail until you get that form completely right. Now, if I'm happy with this hand and it measures all correctly, then I'll go and I'll do my extra detail in here, because I know I won't have to change anything. I'm just adding detail to this hand. That's it. But if I do all of this extra detail and I come back, I go to the bathroom or whatever, and I come back and I see that it's wrong, then I'm have to erase all of this and start again. And that's frustrating, because yeah, if you do something before you add detail, turn it over, walk away, do whatever, come back, you'll see it in a fresh light, and you can say, oh, okay, that's too long, or that's too short, or that's not right, or whatever. But as I say, this is going to curve around, so I shouldn't have even saw that much knuckle. I should have followed that line there. All right, so doing the outside, the reason why you had this, because your thumb is going to come down, and of course, like I say, it depends. Your thumb is going to come down sometimes past that. So that's going to be this fat piece right here that's going to overshadow. I can't turn my hand that way. It's even twisting, it's kind of off, but it's going to be this little piece down here, which you cannot see and I cannot show you. Anyway, yeah. But of course, that all depends on, again, the position that your hand is going in. Yeah, so you start out with those shapes. Go back and rewind. I don't want to redo it again, because this is probably going to be at least a two-part video on hands. So you basically, you know how to draw a fist. Everybody knows how to draw a fist. That's one thing everybody knows how to draw the fist. Fist like this, like this, like this. It depends on how much of the bottom you see. So I'm not going to really go into the fist. If you turn it up a little bit, you'll see some of the under the bottom, and your thumb, of course, your thumb comes around, turns here, and it goes here. All right, so now you can see some of the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and your fist is going to actually curve around. A good fist, a hard fist, come on, get it on camera, is going to come down like that. Okay, if I just close my hands and just make a fist, it's kind of square, but it's always going to be like at this angle here. But the top is going to come down, curve like that. So it's not going to be square like this. It's going to be curved, depending on which hand. Curve like that. The thumbs coming around like that. And then, as I said, you might see some of the bottom of your fingers. And this is not going to come all the way up. This is something I used to do too. These stop way down here. And that has something to do with your knuckles being here and your fingers stopping here. Why is my phone doing that? So yeah, so this is going to come up and it's stop here, stop somewhere. That's why I said you have to get your proportions. Don't draw it and say, oh, this is perfect, it's perfect. Get your proportions right, walk away, come back, get your proportions right, then you can start adding detail. So a lot of times people do stuff like holding guns. That's a major major thing in drawing hands, or drawing comics anyway. You're holding a gun. So again, using your square, so like this is the front of the gun. This is however a gun is made, and this is going to be my handle, and this is going to be my trigger guard. Okay, so we're not going to look at too much at the trigger guard. So drawing square like that, and then you have a piece of that square here again, square, finger, and remember it curves around. That's going to curve around. That hand is going to curve around. So you have this piece, and then finally 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, right here. And remember, you're going to keep that curve on these lines. It's hard to do. You're going to keep that curve on these lines, and you're going to kind of keep the curve on these other lines as well. The baby finger is a little different. So like that. You're going to have these curves around there. And of course, you're going to have the knuckles separate depending on the angle. It's always, drawing is always depends on something. And then of course you have your thumb, which could be just a square like that. And you have your part of your palm right there. And then there's the trigger guard here. I'll just do this. Trigger guard covers that finger because that finger is going to be right in between that. And then here's your gun, however you want to draw your gun. Like so. And then the butt handle of the gun is down there. So it all depends on the shape that you do. So practice those shapes, practice those shapes. If you're grabbing something, like I say, if something is from, if it's from the back, if you're holding it from the back, I don't know how, I'm just doing right now. If he's grabbing that, it would be more like this because the thumb is going to go around. I'm going to use that shape first. I'm going to put that palm, whatever I grab, I don't have anything thick that I can grab, that I can think of. Let's try this block. It's going to hit my palm. It's going to hit my palm, okay? And if it's from the back, then I'm going to grab it and squeeze it. My knuckles are going to be, usually my knuckles are going to be at the edge of whatever this thing is. Let's see this. Depending on what you grab, I'm not going to say not necessarily it's going to be right there on it, but it depends on what you grab and how you grab it. But these are going to be the highest point of something, wherever you grab. I have to show you more examples. Okay, what did I do? Okay, so you have your knuckle here, there, and then you have your finger squared off. Yeah, you're gonna see that, and you're not gonna see these fingers because it is going around this thing. So you're gonna have this, and then you have your other squared off here. So this is why I say you use that triangle shape to do that. It's like if you're drawing a relaxed hand, I always use this shape right here. So my finger, if this is, let's just say if the person's hand is down against his side and it's just relaxed, I'm going to do this, that, maybe that. I only do 3 fingers because if you do the 4th finger, you're going to start seeing the inside of your palm right here, this little piece here. And it kind of gets weird when you draw it. It's correct, but when you draw it, it looks weird. So I usually try not to do that. And then I do my thumb. And then that's just like if you just got somebody, okay, let's just do this. It just look weird because you have this, again, you have that. But if somebody his hand is just relaxing and it's just on his side of his leg or something, he's just standing there. If you're drawing a character design or something and he's not like in an action pose, then this is what I'll do. And it's just easy to do that. Just draw this shape right here. Straight down, up, and just cut it right there. It's just a little easier to do. And if you want to do an action hand, remember, because this is turned in, you didn't see that second knuckle. So if you want to do like some kind of crazy action, hand. Remember, this thumb is going to go here. And I put this knuckle here. Center that. And like I say, if you're drawing all 4 fingers, you're going to have to show a little bit of that palm, because that finger has to ride off of that palm. And again, if you're doing comic books and it's a small panel or a small hand, if you're drawing the whole character, and he's got his one hand, however, but this is a small hand, then I don't draw the hand right, Brian. I'm not going to do all 3 of the fingers, all 3 of the joints of the fingers, if it's just a small hand. It's like my battery's running out. I don't know why I can't talk. But if I'm doing a close-up of the hand, yes, I'm going to do all 3 joints, but You know, most times people are going to look at the action pose that you've got there. They're going to look at the, you know, the broadness of the chest, you know, the abs, the, you know, the background. So they're not going to say, oh, he doesn't have enough joints in his finger, unless you just want to be, you know, really cool, detailed, you know, type of person, drawer. And he's getting his magic together. He's about to, you know, well, but yeah, as I say, I don't do all 3 joints or bends in the finger unless I am doing a close-up of the hand. And remember, you have to make sure your proportion is right, and you're gonna always have that curve. Same thing here, you're gonna have that curve, and it's usually like a 45-degree angle, kind of like between your finger and your thumb. So you're gonna have the curve, and you're gonna have the 45-degree angle, kind of, no matter how much is open, you're gonna have that 45. So if you have this, you're okay. But if your thumb is way out here, then you know you're wrong. Or your finger is way out here and your thumb is way back here, then you know you're wrong. So like I say, get that form first, get it right, and then you can say, okay, this is good. Now I can put my detail curve here, because you're always going to have this curve. You're going to have this curve in your palm that goes up into your wrist. So 31 minutes, probably less with a few cuts, but probably more with an introduction. I'm going to hold it off here, and in the next part, I'm going to we're going to actually draw some action hands and break it down. Do it in squares first, and then we'll round it off to make it more detailed of hands. So remember, you start out with your shapes. No matter what you're doing with your hands, start out with your shape. Square for the front, more of a triangle, part of a triangle for the back. Where is it? This is here. So this would be a half a triangle. The whole thing would be a whole triangle. So just like this, and you chop it off wherever you need to put your fingers at. All right, so triangle for the side, half triangle from the front or the inside, and for the outside with a little piece here, depending on how much you turn, how much your hand is turned to see the thumb and where the thumb is. All right, so that's going to be it. And yeah, no more rambling, no more rumbling. Just, I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, well, something else. I am moving. I'm in the process of moving, so I'm going to be redoing my studio. So that's going to take several weeks. So the videos won't be every Friday as you just seen with this one. It's going to be staggered because I have to get everything together. Once I tear this place down and then try to rebuild the other one, then it's going to take time to do video. So bear with me, and I'll be back. I've got my website up, and I'm adding more to that. And I've got a Patreon. And when I get my Patreon 100% together, I'm going to start doing videos, more in-depth videos, stuff that YouTube won't let me show you, like how to draw women and just, you know, other stuff, and using models, not real models, but just models that, you know, I could get demonetized on, you know, figures as in statues and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Part 2 is coming up. Yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever it comes up. All right, later. Keep drawing, keep practicing. Everything's a shape. Okay, I'm out.